Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to apply your base and that's sort of like primer, concealer, foundation and powder. And yeah, I just thought this would be quite helpful, especially if you're starting out on wearing makeup. I think people need to not just smear anything they find on their face. You need to go about it carefully and gently and make sure that it's nice and lovely and fluffy on your face. So yes, I'm going to show you how I do that to me, and I'm sort of thinking about making this into like a bit of a series. So maybe one day show you how to do your base like today, and then maybe another video I'll show you how I contour. Another video I'll show you how to do like a basic eyes, how to fill in your eyebrows and things. Just sort of like, I know everyone has different ways of doing things, but you know, I'm going to show you my way. So yeah, anyways, today I have exceptionally big under eye circles because my friend stayed around last night and did get no sleep. And it's actually 10 o'clock at night. But I really wanted to film because I didn't want to like leave you hanging again with no video like I've done for ages. So yes, now to blabbering over. I'm going to start by priming my face, which is what I usually do. This is after moisturising and everything. And for primers, you could use the Porefessional. This is what I use. Porefessional Primer. I just use the state of my nails, okay? They'll look fine in a couple of days after, you know, they've been washed my hands and all the stuff comes off the edge. Anyway, Porefessional Primer from Benefit. This is just a little sample that my friend gave me, and yeah, I love this stuff. And also I've got the Balance Me Daily Essentials Moisture Rich Face Cream. This is really nice. It's like a thick face cream which also primes your face, and these are both really good products. And the reason it's important to prime is because if you have problem skin with big pores, or say you've suffered with lots of spots, you want to sort of fill in all the like gaps and lumps in your skin, so when you put your foundation on, it can go on a nice like smooth base. So seeing as my little samples are running out today, I'm going to be using this one. So I just sort of squeeze a bit of this on my finger, sort of this much. You don't really need that much. It just depends. Usually, because this is a moisturiser, I'll put it all over my face. But with the normal primers, you only really need to put them in areas that you think you need to put them in. So I'd put them here, spots here, around my nose and my chin, and just under my eyes, because I feel like if it's under my eyes, it might make my makeup stay there longer. So I'm just going to dab it all over my face and just rub that in. The thing with the Porefessional is it is skin coloured, so you can't see where you've applied it. So at least with this, you know it's a moisturiser. It just goes everywhere. So yes, that just hopefully will smooth out my skin. And obviously if you've had more problem skin than me, you're going to want to use a thick, like quite a nice thick primer, and just make sure that you fill in all the gaps in your face. Right, so now I'm going to use my foundation. And obviously there's a whole wide range of foundations in this planet. The one I'm going to be using is the Rimmel Match Perfection. And I really like this. The reason I love this is because it matches my skin tone very well. It's very pale and I do like it. So this is good for, you know, just everyday foundation. Or then there's like there's Rimmel Wake Me Up, which I also love because this is good for summer. I like this sort of when I want a bright face, but I'm just going to stick with this today. Also, you could use a BB cream, which does the same job. But yeah, so how I apply my foundation is start off by giving a pump on my hand. Like one pump, maybe a little bit extra. Just tiniest bit. You don't need to go pumping half the bottle on your hand, okay? Just a bit. And then you're going to want to just dab that around your face. Put that on my nose, around my eyes. Focusing on your problem areas. Along And don't think that you have to use all the foundation on your hand. Leave it, if you've got spare, leave it until later, because you might want to go over another section, you might want to layer, but you only need to start with one thin layer. And then what you're going to want to do is rub it in, I guess. And you could use your fingers. Fingers are a good option because, you know, they're warm and it like melts the foundation into your skin. And then there's all things like sponges and foundation brushes, but my personal favourite is to use a brush that you can buff with. So I've got the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush from, Real Techniques, like I said. And this is really good. It's really dense, as you can see. And it's so good for buffing, and it's just a really, really good foundation brush. But, you know, there's plenty of other brushes you could go with, but I definitely recommend to use a brush you can buff with. So, yep, and then what you're going to want to do is just gently, circular motions, and just around your face, just buff that in, really buff it. Just buff away. I could sit here and buff my foundation in all day. And the thing with this one is it matches my skin so well that I don't even need to worry, really. This is a very watery, light coverage foundation, but it's very good. So as you can see, I've still got redness here, just sort of bits on my face and around my eyes. So you can use the spare foundation on your hand to just dab over the areas that are not covered. Obviously, you have concealer to come, which will help. And then, yeah, so just use up. You don't have to use it all up. Like, if you think that's enough, wipe it off your hand, you don't need it. So yeah, so that's done. If you are desperately in need, do another layer, but just make sure you buff it in. Don't go smearing it all over the place, because that's going to make you look shiny and weird. Just make sure you buff, because buffing is fun and buffing makes you look good. Buff, buff. And then, right, the last thing you want is lines. So to not stop that, I go around my hairline and just buff around. Do not get foundation in your hair, because that looks stupid. And then just make sure you have no foundation in your hairline. And then you want to make sure you've got no lines down your chin. And I don't think I do, because obviously this matches my skin so well. But the way I do this is literally pump the smallest amount on there. See that? Not even a pea. That is not even a pea. And then you just want to dab your brush in it. Dab your brush. And just bring it from your chin lightly down your neck. Like so. So your face and your neck really blend, and make sure you go buff near your ears. Just make sure that's really nice and blended in. And obviously, as I've said a billion times, make sure that it matches your skin, or you will not have an issue with lines, okay? So anyways, now I'm going to move on to concealing, which is very important in my makeup regime. And I really work on concealing my under eye circles. So that's what I'm going to start with. So I'm moving the camera. Thank you. I'm just going to go, because my inner corner in my eye here is very dark. Put a bit of that there. And then follow the darkness around and make a little V there. And I've also got a bit here. And this is enough concealer to drag over my eyelid as well, because my eyelid is dark also. So let's just do that again on this side. Follow down the dark line, up. join it, and there we go. So that's a very, very attractive look, that is. So I like to use my Real Techniques contour brush because it's very fluffy and it's soft, and it just blends that in really nicely. But you can always use your fingers, sponge, anything really, just as long as you're not taking the product back off your face. So, oh, and I was actually using the Collection 2000 concealer, which you should all know about, and this is my holy grail product. Like any other product, I'd have this because it's just amazing, best concealer in the world. Get your hands on this, £4.19, and it's amazing. So yeah, I'm just gonna lightly just sort of run my brush over, pull that over my lid, and just buff that in. So, and as I stopped and spoke to you, with my concealer still on my face, it does set slightly, which is also quite handy because that sort of makes it stay where it was, instead of it dragging, like, instead of putting it on and then putting the brush and dragging it across your face. If you leave it for like a minute, it will stay in that position more firmly. So that's my first layer of concealer, and as you can see, this side's darker, which is annoying, and I'm just going to go back over my dark bits, just like so. Sadly, I haven't found a foolproof way of concealing my under eye circles, but you know, I can get halfway there and just gently rub that in, blend it. The good thing about this brush is it doesn't like start leaving streaks all over the place, and this concealer also brightens my under eye circles, as well as concealing, which is very handy. So yeah, I'm just dragging that across the eyelid to make sure that's concealed. So that's probably just as concealed my under. So that's probably as concealed as my under eye circles are going to get. It might look a bit shiny for now, but just wait. So before I move on to powdering, I'm just going to conceal blemishes around my face. Blemishes and spots and stuff. I've got a spot here. Just put a dab of concealer on there. A dab. One here. I'm very spotty at the moment. Who knows why? Right around my nose. Bit of redness. Put it here as well. That's I usually just go spots, around my nose, chin. That's what I conceal. And again with this, I'm just going to literally put it on the spot and blend in a little circle until it's nice blended out. Like your method popular. You're never going to get a completely covered up spot, really. So just try as hard as you can to blend it as much as possible. I mean, cover it. Try as hard to cover it, but don't go over the top, start caking on the spot, because it's never going to go away if you do that, is it? Just one layer is fine. And you know, no one cares about spots. Spots are normal. You're a person. Person gets spots. Just get used to it. So that's my concealer done. And obviously I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You're never going to get a completely, unutterly flawless base. Oh, you know. You're going to get a moderately flawless base. And obviously this is probably about as flawless as I'm going to get. And I'm not bothered really. I quite like feeling slightly natural. So now I'm going to powder my face just because set it and just take away some shine that I get from using concealer. Using the Rimmel Matte Perfection Silk Loose Powder, and this is opaque, which means it's got no colour in it, which means it does not doesn't change the colour of my face. It just stops the shine. Basically, it's like a modified talcum powder, basically, that I like to call it, for my face. So what I do is, mine's pretty empty, you probably don't need to do this, but open it up, and I've got some on the top. I'm not really, it's hard to show you, but you've got some powder in the top. So then what I do is grab my Real Techniques buffing brush, because I like this for powder, because, I don't know, I don't have a powder brush, and I just like this because it's wide and it picks up enough powder. So basically I'm going to dab this in here, rub it in, and then put the pot down, get the lid, and just tap the excess into the lid, because you don't want to go getting loads of powder all over your face. Keep tapping until literally till the powder stops falling off. And then I start with my eyes, focus on my eyes, just powder my face, not even loads, you're just taking away the shine. This is going to do nothing to your face apart from take away shine, so don't go overboard. So literally nothing on my brush there. You want to make it spread as far as you possibly can. And yep, that's pretty much taken away all the shine that I need to get taken away. So I'm quite pleased with that. Let's just check myself in my handy mirror. Yep, I have a very matte, not shiny, obviously matte, covered, nice, skin matching, blended base, which I would be happy to go out in. Yep, so I hope that you found this helpful for putting foundation on, and I hope you might take some tips from me. And seriously, I can't express to you how much investing in some brushes will benefit your makeup. Because I've just gone and watched my first ever video, which was actually my everyday makeup routine, and that was last February. And I hate that. What was I doing? I was using this weird brush for my concealer. I was using my fingers for everything, and it was weird. So I'm just, since I invested in brushes, I feel like my makeup's just gone whoo, up. Like, what's the best thing that I would say you can invest in is the Core Collection by Real Techniques, and you get the buffing brush, which you do everything with. I can do everything with this, basically. I can live with this brush. The contour brush, which I also use a lot. You get the pointed foundation brush, which is also good for beginners, you know, if you like to use this kind of brush for foundation. And then you also get the tiny little minuscule, where is it? Yes, here we go, little tiny concealer brush. But seriously, this is a great set, and it's like £21. I'd definitely recommend getting this for your base and anything. Like, this will probably do you for quite a bit of your makeup, except for eyes, really. And then and then when you've got used to using those, you can spread out and get things like this, the expert face brush, when when you've learned, sort of adapted to using brushes instead of all the other random things that people use to put their foundation on. So anyway, sorry that I've just blabbed on at the end. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and tell me down below if you did find it helpful, because that would be really helping me know what you like. So yeah, I'll see you in my next video. The next one I'm probably going to make in this series is eyebrows. So I'll see you then. Bye!